Hello, thank you for joining me again. Today's workout theme is rocking and rolling. So, all movements where we get to rock and roll, and how we can build all the way up from the most foundational of movements to movements that are maybe a little bit more sophisticated. But one simple thing they have in common: a lot of rocking, a lot of rolling. So, let's get started. I'm starting out on my back on the floor. I'm going to roll all the way back and down. And then I'm going to walk my feet toward me a little bit so that my ankle is lined up with my knee. Then from here, I'm starting out with my hips in a natural position. So I'm not really rounding my back. I'm also not extending through my lower back. I'm somewhere in the middle. We'll call that neutral. So I'll bring my hands down by my side, and I'm going to start out by tucking my tailbone under, pulling my belly in, and I'm going to think about reaching the tops of my hips down into the mat as I round my lower back. And then I'm going to relax out of that position back to my in-between position or my neutral. So I'm tucking, rounding my low back, and then I'm releasing. If you wanted to add on your breath to that, you could inhale first. Then use your exhale to round your low back to reach the tops of your hip bones down. You could even think of squeezing your cheeks just slightly as you're tucking, and then inhaling to release. Let's do a few more. We'll do this one 4 times and release. Here's 3 and relax. 2 and relax. Last one, tuck, then we'll hold on to this position. So low back rounded, hip bones reaching down, and belly sinking down to the floor, almost like somebody punched you right in the belly. And then you're going to start to lift away from the floor, going from a pelvic rock or tilt up into a bridge. And then from here, we roll all the way back down, starting at the top of the rib cage, pushing all the way through to the middle of the back, the low back, and finally, the tailbone touches as we go back to our neutral position. Tuck and roll all the way up until the weight is in your shoulder blades, pushing your hips up to the ceiling. And then we're rolling all the way back down. We'll go for 4 more. This is 4. Roll all the way up and all the way down. If you wanted to add in your breath, you could inhale here at the bottom. Then exhale while you're on the move. Inhale as you pause at the top. And then exhale again while you're on the move. There's this joke that Pilates teachers can't count. And to be honest with you, I've already lost count. So let's call this 1 more. As soon as we roll down, we go into our last. And we'll call this one 4 or 4 in Pilates teacher talk. All the way up to the top and then all the way back down. So we found our rock. That was our pelvic tilt. And then we found our roll, articulation during our bridge, all the way up and all the way down. So now we rock up and then we go into our roll down. So I'm seated here in my mat. I've got my knees bent. I've got my feet flat on the floor. As an alternative, if you have a hard time keeping your feet anchored down, you can also glue your inner thighs together and then flex back at your ankles, and this will help to secure you on the mat. Another option you have is to walk your legs away from you a little bit. So I'm going to start out here. I've got my knees bent. I've got my feet down on the floor, and I'm going to start out with my hands right underneath my thighs for my half roll down. So from here, I'm going to take an inhale breath. As I exhale, I'm going to use that same positioning I used earlier where I'm kind of rocking my 2 hip bones back down to the floor as I sink down. And I'm going to sink down until my feet want to come off of the mat, and that's my cue to roll back up to the top. So we're tipping back through the hip bones and initiating the movement at the bottom of the spine, sinking down into the mat, and then stacking up taller and taller like the top of my head wants to touch the ceiling. Let's do a couple more. We'll add in our breath. I'm going to exhale to go back. And inhale to stack myself up nice and tall, top of my head to the ceiling. Exhale down and inhale to stack all the way up. Let's do 2 more. Exhale down and inhale up. Last one. And all the way up. So now we add on, I'm going to extend my arms out in front of me with a slight bend in my elbows, so soft like a hug. I'm not using my thighs for support, so slightly more challenging. And then I'm sinking down and stacking back up. What I like to imagine when I'm doing this is kind of like I'm at school in a class, and maybe the teacher is kind of looking around and they're just calling on people randomly. And maybe it's a subject you're not familiar with, so you're like, oh my gosh, please don't call on me. And you know how you kind of sink down in your seat at your desk, like maybe they won't notice me? That's the type of movement we're doing. So arms extend out in front of you. I inhale first. I use my exhale to sink down in my seat because it's a subject I'm not familiar with and I don't want the teacher to call on me. And then I inhale at the bottom and come all the way back up. And again, take it back and then stack all the way up to the top. Take it back and then stack yourself all the way back up. Now, what if we added on to this? So what if I took my hands out a little bit wider and then I brought one of my legs up to tabletop and then I sunk down just a tiny bit and then I came back up. And then I'm going to set this leg down and bring the other leg up and I'm going to sink down just a tiny bit and come back up. And then I'm going to set this leg down. Let's do 2 more. I'm going to bring this leg up, sink down, come up, set this one down, other one, sink down and come up and set this one down. Last round, leg up, body down, body up, leg down, other side, leg up. I'm heading back this way. I'm rolling back up and then I'm going to set this leg down. Now let's try something else out. What if I tried staying in the seated position and I'm just going to rock back a little bit? So I'm going to allow my hips to relax and sink down to where my low back rounds just a little bit. And we're going to play with balance on your sit bones. So I'm going to extend my arms out with that slight bend in the elbow. And I'm going to try bringing one leg up to tabletop and then switching it out with the other leg. Almost like a toe tap that we would do laying down on our back. But this time we're upright and we're balancing right on our seats. One leg up and then the other leg up. One leg up, then the other leg up. 2 more times. One leg up and then the other leg up. So let's bring this guy down. We sit up, take a tiny break. So what if we went to both legs floating up and then going down? I'm going to let you hang on for this one for the first couple tries, and then we'll add on no hands. So I'm sinking down, and I'm going to try bringing my legs up, balancing on my seat on my sit bones or my booty bones, and then I'm going to bring my legs down all the way up, all the way down. And you might feel your belly kicking in. Maybe you're feeling some hip flexors, feeling your thighs warming up a little bit. Keep going. Both legs up, both legs down. Balance on your sit bones without tipping over, and then back down. So now, no hands. Legs up, legs down. Legs up, legs down. Now, what if I brought my legs up and then I tried to extend one out and then the other one out, and then I set them down? Let's take one leg out, the other leg out, and then we set them down. Up and up, down and down. One more big challenge here. Up and up. Freeze, take a picture. We found the teaser. I found the shake. Down and up. So let's layer in another movement. And what if we rolled like a ball and turned it into a teaser? So I'm going to scoot forward just a tiny bit, and I'm going to pull my legs in a little bit closer to me. I think I could scoot up even more. So I'm pulling my legs in closer to me, and now I'm going to try out balancing on my seat, but with my legs really close to me. So we tried it out with our legs extended. We tried it out with one. We tried it out with both, with our knees bent, with our legs completely straight. And now I'm trying out setting my feet down and then lifting off of the floor. Feet down, lifting off of the floor, which feels pretty easy after all the work we just did. Now, what if I tried to make myself into a ball? So I'm going to round my body as much as I can. I'm going to reach my 2 hip bones down, bring my knees into my chest. I'm going to set my eyebrows on my kneecaps, set, so to speak, bringing them really close. I'm going to inhale here. And as I exhale, I'll allow myself to roll back. Then I come up and stop before my feet touch the floor. So again, inhale first. Exhale, make yourself into a ball and roll back. Come up and stop before your feet touch the floor. Now, as I'm stopping, I'm using my bathroom muscles. I think you know which ones I'm talking about. To tense up just enough to pause before my feet touch the floor. Keep going. Can we do 3 more? 2 more. Last one. So now, what if we turned our rolling like a ball into a rolling teaser? So I'm going to take it back and down and come up and then open up into my teaser like this. Now I'm going to pause here, find it, same muscle, same type of movement, bring it in and back down and up and hold and extend it out right here, pull it back together, keep going. Pause, find your teaser, keep your chest up, take a picture, bring it back down. And that concludes our workout. Nice job. I hope you're sweaty. I hope you're working hard. And I hope you learned something new about rocking and rolling. Take care.